Hello, welcome to another edition of Triple B, Big Blue Banter. I'm Molly Demrow.
And I'm Sanaya Johnson.
Kentucky men's basketball had its first ranked matchup earlier this week. Samantha Money brings us a recap of how it went.
Kentucky men's basketball traveled to Chicago, Illinois on Tuesday night to take part in the State Farm Champions Classic, where the Wildcats took on the #1 Kansas Jayhawks. Kentucky did come up short in the end, 89-84, but they proved that even with this young team, they can fight and they can push through, and they definitely have a personality on the court. In the second half, Kentucky was up 14 points. Unfortunately, age got the best of them towards the end there. Kansas was able to catch up, take advantage of some missed opportunities for the Wildcats, and come up with 5 points in the end. But here's what head coach John Calipari had to take away from Tuesday.
Well, at the end of the game, missed some free throws, missed some shots, broke down a little bit. We got to get better finishing, but a young team learns that. But what I was proud of is they fought, and that's a huge team. And they had to fight to survive.
You know, fight and just have fun playing against them. And I think we did a pretty good job of that in the first half. And then I think that's when when the age came into everything, we started looking at each other, looking around, trying to figure everything out, and we should have just, kept having fun the whole game, and could have been a different turnout.
The Wildcats will be back at home tomorrow night in Rupp Arena as they look for a bounce-back win against Stonehill College at 7 p.m.
Kentucky basketball has now lost 4 championship classic games in a row following the loss on Tuesday to #1 ranked Kansas, forcing the Wildcats to 1-6 in their last 7 showings of the tournament. Kentucky students voiced their reactions from Tuesday night's game and opinion on the team earlier this week.
Everything was there for Kentucky. Everything just clicked. The only thing that was missing were those freshman mistakes. It's still the preseason of the regular season. There isn't nothing you can say about Kentucky negatively that they don't know themselves, fans don't know, or even the people that dictate the rankings don't know. Kentucky's going to be a young team this year. That's going to show, but I also think that their hustle, their fight, and just their talent alone is going to bring them to a high level this year.
The Kentucky Wildcats will take the floor once again tomorrow night against Stonehill College in Rupp Arena at 7 p.m. You can catch the action on ESPN+.
While the Cats did not pull out the win against Alabama, SEC Nation did pull into town. The show happened at 10 a.m. next to Nutter Fieldhouse, directly outside the stadium.
This weekend, the crew of SEC Nation rolled into town along with the Tide. This was SEC Nation's second stop in Lexington this year after coming previously for the UK-Florida game in Week 5 where the Cats won 33-14. The crew was there Thursday setting up and had their show on Saturday morning 2 hours before the matchup got underway. Kentucky head coach Mark Stoops joined the show to discuss the game plan for the tough matchup and the keys to win the game and potentially pull off a massive upset for the Cats.
It's important for your team here in less than 2 hours when this thing kicks off.
There's quite a few things. I mean, it starts with physical team. You're playing Alabama, you're going to get a physical team. They have playmakers at every level on both sides of the ball. We have to match that intensity, match that physicality. You got to execute in critical moments as well.
Mark Stoops was right about his points. However, Kentucky did not execute. Alabama does have playmakers, and they showed that, defeating Kentucky 49-21. UK did not do a great job at limiting big plays or creating many of their own. Both the offense and defense had issues against the number 8 team in the country. Stoops and the rest of the team will have to bounce back as they prepare for a South Carolina team that is currently 4-6 on the season before they renew their annual rivalry with in-state foe Louisville. For Big Blue Banter, I'm Aaron Benjamin.
SEC Nation will hit the road and go to Knoxville for the Georgia-Tennessee matchup this upcoming Saturday. Kentucky, on the other hand, will travel to Columbia to play the South Carolina Gamecocks.
Coming up, I make my return to the screen this week, and you won't want to miss my picks of the week. We'll be right back after this.
the black truck. Hey, Christina from accounting.
Yeah, hi.
Hey, I used to date a girl named Christina.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then she dumped me for my best friend. You want to see some photos of them that I took?
I don't.
I thought we talked about this, buddy.
Buzz and overshared again?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna call a car.
That's a smart idea.
So, yeah, I know, that's why I did it.
Hey, you're gonna get back to the top of the mountain.
Does that mean I'm gonna get back with Christina?
No.
Oh.
No.
The season is winding down, but Kentucky football still has some major tests ahead of them.
The Cats will head down to Columbia this weekend to face a struggling South Carolina team. Kentucky, coming off their 4th loss in 5 games, will look to get back on track against a team they've been pretty good against in the Stoops era. Since 2014, Kentucky has won 7 of the last 9 versus the Gamecocks, but they're only 2-2 in the last 4.
USC is having a disappointing year themselves, standing only 4-6 and needing to beat both Kentucky and Clemson to just make a bowl game. The Gamecocks will arguably be one of the worst teams Kentucky faces this year, so it's key they get the win in Willie B. You can catch UK's SEC finale at 7:30 Saturday night on SEC Network. It's been a little bit, but this week we have Aiden Parise returning for his picks with our weekly edition of Big Blue Banter. Aiden, take it away.
Welcome back to Betting Banter. Here we are. I was on a much needed reset. I started, I think, 2 for 10 at this show, and our friend Seth held it down nicely for us while I was gone, but today I'm looking for some redemption with this slip. At number 1, I'm going to take the Texans to cover at -5 versus the Cardinals at home. I think C.J. Stroud is the runaway Rookie of the Year, and DeMeco Ryans is the Coach of the Year candidate. And they've never been favored this much this season, but I'm still taking them to cover at home. Number 2, I'm taking the Lions to cover -7.5 versus the Bears at home. Now, with the potential return of Justin Fields in the mix, this game could get a little uglier than it first appears, but I'm still taking the Lions to cover -7.5. At 3, the Seahawks will cover -1 versus the Rams in L.A. And while Matthew Stafford has a chance to come back for this game as well, with the theme of quarterbacks being healthy this week, I still like that Seahawks fire-powered offense to take this one out. At number 4 for college football, I like North Carolina to cover +7 versus Clemson at Clemson. I've never been a big Dabo Swinney fan, and I'm not sure that they're legit this year, so I think UNC is covering on the road, especially after that game against Duke last week. And finally, our very own Big Blue Nation, I'm taking Kentucky to cover -1.5 versus South Carolina this weekend in South Carolina. Devin Leary, Spencer Rattler, they're both kind of inconsistent, but I think I trust this offense to come out with a couple more points. That's all for this week's edition of Big Blue Banter. Back to you, Molly and Sanaya.
I don't know. Seth might have some competition. What do you think, Molly?
Maybe, but I'm going to trust Aiden this week. I am.
Behind every successful sports team is a training staff dedicated to ensuring athletes are in the best physical condition to enable peak performance.
Big Blue Banter recently spoke to athletic training student Kenta Mizumoto, who gave us a breakdown of his day-to-day routine as an athletic trainer here on campus. Kenta, who is a second-year master's student here at UK, has completed clinical rotations with men's soccer and football, in addition to currently working with tactical athletes at the Lexington Fire Department.
So, a day in the life as an athletic trainer or as an athletic training student. Basically, you start off the day just preparing for practice. So, as an athletic training student, we're responsible for making sure that the water bottles are ready, the water tanks are ready, so that they can get hydrated during practice.
Athletic trainers may not dominate the spotlight, but the roles they play for UK athletics remains integral.
It's a huge weekend in the NFL with a great slate, and it starts tonight with one of the best primetime games yet this season.
The Ravens will play host to the Bengals tonight on Thursday Night Football. Both teams are coming off an unexpected loss at home, but there's no doubt these are two of the most talented teams in the AFC.
You can catch this heavyweight matchup on Amazon Prime tonight at 8:15.
Up next on Triple B, we'll have more from some big MLB news this morning.
And a women's basketball team had their bus broken into. We'll be right back.
Sarah, you've got this, okay? But they lost.
Not really. Not where it counts.
Multiple studies have shown that marijuana can slow both driver reaction and response time, which can be really dangerous. He's here. He's here. Wait. What?
I can't drive.
Why? My. Oh.
A team outing in St. Louis turned into anything but fun. A college basketball team from Indiana was in town for a tournament, and during a stop at the Gateway Arch, their bus got broken into. Annie Krall has the details.
How often do you see basketball opponents wearing almost identical uniforms on the court? Well, when the visiting team has their jerseys stolen out of a van while taking a team picture at the Arch, that's exactly what you're going to see.
St. Louis is a fun time. Like, it's a great city to be a part of. It just sucks that bad things happen.
17 women's basketball players from Anderson University in Indiana were in town for the two-day basketball tournament hosted at Webster University. At around 2 p.m. on Friday, Anderson took these team photos at the Arch. They stopped for no more than 30 minutes. Yet,
one of them had been broken into, and a lot of our stuff was missing. A lot of game jerseys, backpacks with laptops and iPads and iPods and all that kind of stuff was taken.
The police report saying the driver door on one of the vans had been damaged during the break-in between Gateway Arch riverboats and the Arch. Multiple electronics, driver's licenses, a social security card, and a number of basketball jerseys were stolen. Even their shoes were gone. So within a few hours, Webster University jumped into action, finding extra jerseys and kicks from their inventory to try and size the opposing players correctly.
They play fast, they press, they shoot the three, they're well coached, they're young, they're scrappy, so I kind of feel like the way they play is kind of how they handle the situation. They were resilient, and so it kind of shows how they play on the court, how they dealt with this off the court as well.
When it comes to how some collegiate athletes may feel about playing in St. Louis in the future,
I would say just kind of balance that out, and we work with that all the time with recruits, particularly out of state, that this is a very safe campus and St. Louis is a great city.
Webster beat Anderson with a final score of 101-62. Reporting in Webster Groves, Annie Krall, 5 on your side.
Anderson University has started a GoFundMe page to help replace the stolen items. Over $3,000 has been donated so far, and all extra proceeds will be used for the team's trip to Costa Rica next summer, where they will be serving local communities.
An ex-girlfriend of Tiger Woods has dropped an appeal to nullify a non-disclosure agreement. In a lawsuit submitted in May, Woods was accused of pursuing a sexual relationship with Herman while she worked at his South Florida restaurant. The lawsuit says she was forced to sign an NDA or she'd be fired from her job. According to new court documents filed in Florida's 4th Court District of Appeal, Herman filed an official notice to dismiss her appeal. The court document says by dismissing the appeal, Herman is stating she was never a victim of sexual harassment or sexual abuse by Woods.
It's been a long expected move, but Las Vegas will be getting its own baseball team in 2028. This morning, MLB owners voted unanimously to approve the relocation of the Oakland Athletics. This will end the franchise's 55-year stay in the Bay Area. The A's will continue to play in the Oakland Coliseum through next year, but it's unclear where they will be after that. The team's new permanent home A $1.5 million facility on the Las Vegas Strip won't be ready until 2028. The A's are the third professional sports team to leave Oakland in the last 5 years.
Yikes, that's going to be a long trip for some die-hard Oakland fans.
It really is. I can't even imagine.
Yeah, but I guess if you got to do what you got to do.
Exactly. That's all for your Big Blue Banter today. Thanks for joining us.
Have a happy Thanksgiving and a great night.